welcome to another Happy Pod, the only podcast in the world. My name is Nathan. As always, I'm joined by my wonderful co-host. Her name is Catherine. Hello, Catherine. Thank you for joining us this week. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Someone's been demoted here.
I know. This is unfortunate.
He deserves it. We do have we have a guest. His name is Lawrence. Hello, I guess.
Hello. Thanks for having me. It's a really fun time to be here.
You're welcome. Now shut up.
Okay. All right, fine.
You should be honoured that you're here, okay?
And that I, if you point at me, I'll talk. Otherwise, I'll stay quiet for the show.
No, please do.
Thank you.
We're back. It's week 4 of Suck You Lie. Catherine, you missed last week, but we watched Suck You Lie 3, which I guess you know. But yeah,
I know. I listened. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Did you hear how much more chaotic and unorganized it was?
I don't think it sounded unorganized. I think you got in your own heads.
We might have done, to be
I
fair.
think we did. Yeah.
We went, oh no, we're used to being articulate and talking about things that, are important rather than this nonsense.
And then it just evolved into, whose dick is that? Tell me whose dick that is. We need to know.
Can you believe as well? I think I actually cut bits of that down. Like,
really?
I think I did because I didn't realize at the time it went on for a while.
It was a long conversation.
Yeah.
Do you know what made me laugh? Is because I watched season 3 as well. I didn't even really register that you saw a dick. Like, it kind of just passed me by in the awkwardness of the scene, but it was a lengthy discussion between the two of you.
Oh, I noticed that dick. That dick's not getting past my...
It was a noticeable dick. Like, it was a statement dick, we thought, to be fair. It didn't match Roman's vibe. Do you agree, Catherine?
What a question right off the bat.
We want to know.
I am not putting that on a microphone or someone's dick matches someone's face.
You don't have what it takes to be the official co-host, Catherine. You're the guest now.
Anyway, we are here to wrap it up, to finish season 4, to finish Suck You Lie, and to put an end to this nonsense that has been the last few weeks. It's been fun though. So yeah, season 4.
Nathan, how are you?
Just in general? Or...
just in watching season 4.
Yeah, didn't love it, I'll be honest. Of the 4 seasons, I would say this is my least favorite, okay? And I would say that I can see your judgmental faces, okay? But I would say for me personally, I think didn't necessarily do a great job of wrapping it up, I think. I thought that it was a bit... I thought it prioritized some things over others, which I quite think was a bit of a mistake to me personally. There was highlights, there was great moments, but I think overall a bit of a sour ending. When the show ended, like when those credits came up, I was like, yeah, well there we are. Okay.
Well, it's okay to be wrong is the main thing.
Okay.
No, all right. I'm curious to get into it, but we'll go through it and we'll get to the finale. Like, other than that, like, good season of TV. What do you think?
I want to know what Catherine thinks.
Okay.
I just feel like I need to mentally prepare myself for a different conversation today now.
Yeah.
I was ready for us all to love this. Love season. But this, like, as we said, this was like the first season I watched live. And like, the internet is a hellscape, right? It's awful all the time, but there are like a few moments of joy. And like Succession season 4 airing was so much fucking fun. Like, a lot of times people watch shows, like fandoms watch shows and they don't really like them. I feel like everyone was on board for like season 4. Like every week I wanted to like watch the show, see all the hot takes, but all the little funny memes. So I really feel I watched it the first time with this kind of like mania of like consuming Succession. And I had a great time rewatching it again. I love season 4.
That's interesting to me. So it was pretty much universally loved as it aired and post.
There were some complaints, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I saw minor gripes, but like as a whole, I think the reception I saw for the finale especially was like essentially TV's never had a finer wrap up of like every character and most arcs. Like I saw pretty much unanimous praise.
Interesting.
And I'd agree. I would genuinely say this is probably one of the best finales to a TV show I've ever seen. Like, I'm
Really?
I'm
Really?
floored that you don't think so. Yeah.
Oh, Well, I guess we'll get into it. We'll see. I think you've also had the benefit of time, though, as well.
That's fair.
You've had time to sit with it, which I haven't. I did finish it today.
Yeah, maybe that's the nature of maybe like shotgunning shows in a month isn't always a great idea. But I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how I felt when I first watched it. It's a lot. The ending, I think, is quite a lot and quite heavy in places. But like Catherine, yeah, I had a great time watching it. And maybe there's also the slight added bias of I watched it live coming out as well. I was in the trenches speculating on Twitter with everyone. So maybe I kind of garnered more enjoyment out of it that way. But yeah, I had a great time rewatching it. Overall, Nathan, despite the ending, I think season 4 gets off to a slow start and it really fucking starts ramping it up in like the last 6 episodes, I think.
See, I'd go the other way.
Really?
I'd say strong start and then very, very quickly went off the... Well, not very quickly, but towards early mid-season went off the rails.
Early mid-season, cool, all right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Catherine, you're in the rare boat that guests don't often experience, where they bring something to Nathan and it feels like a slam dunk. And then he's like, maybe not. And I'm like, oh no, my night's ruined.
Gosh, okay. I don't know. I just felt like the run of episodes from like the tailgate party, America Decides, the funeral, and the finale. I just think that's the best run
America
of the show.
Decides was a great episode.
Yeah.
I'll say that. America Decides was a great episode, especially because where we are just having gone through an election, the US election coming up, all very interesting. I did find America Decides to be a very fun and interesting episode. I did like that one. I think that was also largely separate from the ongoing plot of the series, though, as well.
It's an event. It's the most...
Yeah.
Succession is episodic. Like, they do set up these... Like, a shareholder meeting is the vibe of today's episode. And, like, that's...
Yeah.
It's very... it has that formula, and America Decides is probably the most structured they felt in terms of, this week we're doing a thing. Like, so, yeah, it did feel like a little bit of a bite off, I suppose. But, I don't know. Where do you want to start? So, Nathan, you like the opening, like the first kind of initial run of the show.
I did. I liked the siblings working together. Okay.
Okay.
I liked Power Trio, Shiv, Roy, and Roman being good pals and doing whatever this shitty company, 100 or some shit. Horrible company was doomed to fail. Okay. But then they tried to go after PG or whatever, and then I was vibing with all that. I liked it. It was fun. That was a good start to me. Those were good vibes. And then it got ruined.
That's probably one of my least favorite episodes of the whole show.
What, the opening?
Yeah, the opening of season 4. Yeah.
Why?
I just feel like it's, in season 1 I spoke about how it takes the show a while to get the vibe down.
Yeah.
I feel like it returned to that because for me, the siblings getting along feels alien. The siblings, like, banded together. And bear in mind, I came at this from the perspective of I've seen how the show ends, and I know that the siblings will never be destined to be friends and get along.
See, I think that's one of my issues, because that's what I hate about the ending.
Really? Okay.
I want them to all just get along and run the company as
They
friends.
can't.
I know.
They physically can't.
But I don't like it. I don't like it when they're all unlikable, horrible people. I know this is like a dumb take, but I just want them to all get along and just have a good time, okay?
I will admit, I started getting worried when season 4 approached, when Nathan made the claim that, like, Kendall's only likable when he's just like a sad loser. And I was like, oh, the back end of season 4 is going to be rough for you.
No.
I figure, should we talk about episode 3? Because the show doesn't really I don't think it really kind of sets off on the arc until episode 3.
So I think what the first few episodes do really well is make episode 3 a surprise because, like, Logan dies. That's shocking. But what they do in the first few episodes is make you think you know how the season's going to go.
Mm-hmm.
So they make you think it's going to be the 3 siblings versus Logan, maybe Roman, like, betraying them. You think, like he's really involved in ATN, so you think he's going to step up there. So in a show about Succession, where first season it was like Logan might die, you're still, like, shocked to your core by episode 3. And that is so good.
I think it's phenomenal. It's very fun to watch the trailer for season 4 back again and go, you fucking liars. This is nothing.
Or in the promo photos, Brian Cox is like right in the center.
Yeah.
I've still never seen a single trailer for this show. I've seen the entire show, but never a single trailer.
It's probably for the best. The trailers were not great sometimes.
No.
Yes, big shock. Definitely did not see it coming. So much so that I thought it wasn't real at first. I thought it was a trick.
Amazing.
Okay, I thought because they purposefully weren't showing Brian Cox. Okay, they weren't showing Logan. So I thought this is some sneaky tactic he's doing. This is some weird, horribly fucked play that he's doing to like, I don't know, just get them on his side or to just scare them off or whatever horrible shit he's doing. But then I was like, oh fuck, no, it's real. He's actually dead. Okay. And at first I was like, whoa, storytelling, cinema. But then I was like, but is it? Or is it just shock value?
I knew you were gonna say this.
Yes. Because then it's like, so what happened to Logan's story? It's just see ya.
But sometimes I think what's so good about Logan's death, particularly because it happens so far away from all the kids and they're like trapped on this boat, is like that is how death happens. Like sometimes there is no closure, there is no ending. They died on bad terms with their dad, and they will have to live with that for the rest of their life. They don't get a happy ending together. They don't get anything. And Logan, like, might have had all these big plans, but ultimately, even he, like the god in the world, can't stop death.
Yeah, his money can't bring him fucking immortality. Like, the reason I love it so much, and like, yeah, there is a part of you that go, look, they intentionally made it shocking. So like, yeah, the initial thought to have of like, is this kind of just for show and just for shock? For me, when the death informs like pretty much the rest of the season, like Logan's always at his most interesting when he's a vessel for the kids to be explored through. If you ask me all of Logan's interesting parts, it's when he did something to Kendall, or how he spoke to Roman, or how he denied Shiv something. It's never, God, I loved it when Logan made a business deal. Like, least interesting part of the show for me. So, like, the natural conclusion of this show as a whole for me, like, I wouldn't have felt like I would have felt like I was shortchanged if I didn't see what, like, the complete unwinding that Logan's death has on all the kids, like how it just sends them all into a meltdown. And I think the best way to do that is to make it a surprise, to kind of strip this man who they deify down to nothing, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay, go on. Tell me your thoughts.
I don't know. I feel shortchanged in what we got. I personally feel shortchanged in the, like, I get what you're both saying, and that do make sense, and I do take that on board. But and I get that, like, it is real that people just die and you don't get to have closure and you don't get to have happy endings and stuff. But this is a TV show, okay? I want that stuff, you know. I want escapism and fucking shit. And maybe, yes, then you can say, well, you're watching the wrong show, you fucking idiot, all right? But you both forced me to watch this, okay? So you have to deal with my criticisms, all right? So I don't know. I just feel like it's not what I wanted, personally, okay? And like, maybe that's dumb, but I don't know. It to me, it feels like in the moment it felt great, but then after thinking about it for a while, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that, because I feel like the series is lesser for not having Logan in the back half of it. Like, there was some interesting stuff done with his death, sure, but I don't know. I just can't help think about what could have been necessarily.
Yeah, it is a bold choice because he's such a force in the show. Yeah. But I feel like I don't know, and maybe this is a bit of a cheesy cop-out answer, but like, I feel like his presence is still always felt, like, in terms of, like, essentially the shadow he casts over everything. Like, his funeral was pretty much an hour of every character talking about him. And most of what Kendall and Shiv and Roman are doing is trying to emulate him after the fact, and people saying, you suck at this, by the way, you're not your dad. Like, you can't pull this off. So I feel like his shadow is still felt. Like, his presence is still quite apparent in the show, but I do see what you mean. Like, obviously, Brian Cox is a performer and he's not in it, and it does lose something for that, but I think what it gains is maybe more interesting.
I think maybe this is the difference, is if you don't like what comes after it, it doesn't feel worth it. So, you know, if you don't like the back half of the season as much, then yeah, it doesn't feel worth it to lose Logan. But like, I really do like that back half of the season. And then also just in Connor's wedding, in that episode, you get some of the best performances.
Oh
Up
yeah.
until they do later performances in the show, but you get like all the reactions to his death is like some of the best acting on TV. It is incredible. So I think
Yeah.
because it's done so well, particularly that episode, I think it stops feeling just done for like shock value.
That episode is done very well. Yeah, yeah. Especially, I do like like's a bit strong, but the way Roman just reacts and just he cannot fucking handle it at all. Even right the way through to the fucking funeral episode. What was that line he said in the funeral episode? Like, fucking, is he in there? Can we get him out? Fuck me, man. That broke my heart. That was horrible.
And then afterwards, everyone's calling him like Tiny Tears, and
yeah, horrible. No, but Kieran Culkin was really good in that sort of stuff. But again, it was heartbreaking to watch because fuck, he abused you so much, my dude. He fucking treated you like shit. But I guess that's the whole fucking Stockholm syndrome of it all, which might not be a real thing. I don't know. But yeah, that's fucked.
Well, I think it's the safety net removed from them all, right? Like the entire episode is like, and the rest of the season is like, how do they do any of this without him? And it slowly starts to just show you, oh, they can't. They never were capable without him and his kind of guiding hand. As horrible as his guiding hand was.
But I want them to be. I want them to all be friends and run the company together, and also to make the company nice.
Yeah. Because all of them have such high principle values, don't they? Like,
yeah. I just want them all to be nice and to get along.
If Shiv, the most liberal of them all, took over, I would still horrendously fear for the future of America.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
With the performances in that episode, they're fucking unbelievable. But I think Sarah Snook is the standout. This is what I was saying about kind of she earns the Emmy in season 2, but in season 4 she she earned all the other Emmys that have ever been given to anyone else. Like, she is unbelievably good. Like, when she manages to to toe the line between funny and tragic. In like when they say, "Oh, we think Dad's dead," and she goes, "No, I can't have that." And she's like in floods of tears, and I'm like, that's also a bit funny that's your reaction. And it's, I don't know, the way she manages to kind of pull that off, that whole episode is just, she's on a different planet. Like, everyone's up there, but she is on a different planet entirely, I think.
I was sobbed so much in Connor's wedding, and like objectively, it's not that sad that Logan's dead. He's a billionaire and a bad man. But they made it feel like so real, like they had genuinely lost someone that they loved, and I was there like, I can't watch this. I can't see these people break down like this.
I feel like they do it in a way that different TV shows wouldn't. Like, there's such a wide variety of emotions on display from all of them. Like, when a lot of the times you see a character die in TV and it's either just kind of blanket sad or like angry, or whereas these characters go on such a, like, you get Connor kind of immediately referring back to like, oh, he didn't even like me. And then in a heartbeat switching up like, oh no, I'm these kids' surrogate dad, essentially. I need to be back on form for these guys. Like, it shows you so much about who these characters are at their barest and most human, which I just think is something that Succession in other seasons so cleverly avoids. It really it made me see a lot of characters in a new light, and I just think that's really cool to be able to do that in your final season and for it to feel fresh.
I think it was really interesting to see how Connor was able to handle it so well, really, and he was just like so like almost just matter of fact about it. Like, he was like handling like over the funeral and the body and everything like that. So much so that he like was almost like fucking desensitized to it. Like, he was texting fucking Roman pictures of the body. Like, here, look at this. Is this okay? And Roman's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man! Like, oh my
what
god,
what are you doing?
Yeah. So I thought that was quite interesting. Does Connor ever have much to do, really, this season?
He got married, and I like that Willa like agrees to marry him, like, because the wedding's originally meant to be for his campaign, and they're kind of like, let's do it anyway, you know. She doesn't love him, but she really deeply cares for him, and she does. They have in some ways like the healthiest relationship in the show, which is crazy because he bought her.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be the case. But like, she genuinely seems to like him. And she's like, I won't leave you at this moment in time, so let's get
Yeah.
married. And then they're a real team.
Well, she's playing a bit of a financial game in
Yeah.
that she's like, it stands very well for me to be attached to this person, and I like that she's refreshingly honest with him. Like he says like, is this kind of bullshit? And she's like, yeah, look, there's an element of me being with you for money. Like I'm not shying away from that. That's absolutely true. But I'm happy, and like, yeah, it's the implications and like the subtext, and it's all very icky. But I think that's more of a damning critique on the rest of the Roys and their inability to form real relationships with people that they don't have to essentially pay for, almost.
Kind of a weird moment that happened in real time this week is I was watching episode 4 or 5, one of those two, and it was the one where like they find the piece of paper in Logan's office with Kendall's name on it, and then like, is it underlined or is it crossed out? And then this week, like it must have been like a few hours after that, I saw on Twitter when it was Jova, when Joe Biden announced he was leaving, he was stepping down from the nomination. There was a meme where it was that piece of paper, but it was Kamala's name on the thing, and the meme was, is it underlined or is it crossed out? I was like, I get a reference. I've seen the show. I can like a Succession meme. It was a big moment for me. I enjoyed it.
I'm so glad that likes are private now, because Succession has been up in my feed again, and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't. Oh, but then I remember Nathan won't see it, so it's okay. I can like it freely.
Was he checking your likes?
No, but like, you know how sometimes it comes up, doesn't it? Like,
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So and so's like.
Also, yes, I was. I'm always checking his likes. I want to know what he's up to.
I do like that episode brings the siblings together in a way that like they obviously like their previous business plans just kind of go out the window as it immediately just becomes who's going to rule Waystar again.
Yeah.
And then I really like I like how they each react. Shiv leaves before the body comes out. Roman goes to see the body, and Kendall just kind of watches from afar. And I think it says a lot about them. Like Kendall needs to watch it to make sure he's finally kind of, I guess, free of it. There's a beautiful piece of writing in the, humble brag, but I've read the script books, which I know is going to cause. There it is. He rolled his eyes. But there's an incredible piece of writing that I didn't write it all down, but like there's a part where when Kendall's on the boat and he just is about to call Frank, and he's kind of, it's his first moment alone when he's heard the news that his dad's essentially dead. And in the script, the stage directions for Jeremy Strong said that the world was off its axis, but it felt solid. And the most awful thing had happened, but all he felt was liberation. And I'm like, my God, you can see that in his eyes. That man is a fucking very good actor. Kendall was just kind of relieved, but doesn't want to admit it in a way.
Yeah, he is relieved, and then he like immediately starts the cycle all over again, which is just the tragedy of Kendall. Like he can't be his own person, so he immediately tries to be Logan 2.0.
Yeah.
This is what I don't like. I want these characters to grow, I want them to... I do. I want them to grow and learn. But then the show is like, no, they're all bad. And I'm like, well, I don't like it then, okay? I want them to be nice.
It is a cynical show. It is a very cynical show.
Makes sense why you fucking love it, then. You're the most cynical man in the world.
I love it, man. It's a great show.
No, it is a good show. It is good.
Should we kind of, I guess, because they're the two major episodes of obviously season 3, it's the episode 3 and the finale. Should we do some character stuff now, and then we get to where they all end up in the finale, and we can round it out with that? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So Nathan, you said Kendall becomes unbearable immediately, and Catherine, you said he kind of begins the cycle. So where do we want to start with Kendall after episode 3?
It's when he sees that his dad did name him, but he can never know, was it crossed out or was it underlined? And ultimately, it doesn't matter which it is. It's that Kendall won't know. So he can't know if he was ever chosen. And then he just becomes so desperate. Yeah. Like Logan had such control over his life, and he also has even more in death. Like you think, oh, maybe he will finally be free. And he just isn't. He's more under Logan's thumb than ever before.
It's the final kick, isn't it? Like it's the final taunt that he'll just kind of never ever know where he stood with him, and like even in death, like you're right, it's the final knife twist that he'll never get that closure. And it's cruel, man. That episode, it's one of my favorite episodes because I just think everyone starts acting chaotic, which I really enjoy about the show. But yeah, as soon as that piece of paper comes out and Kendall's immediate reaction when Shiv questions it is like, well, it sure as shit doesn't say Shiv. I'm like, here we fucking go, boys. Yeah. Here we fucking go.
Yeah, unbearable. Like, just immediately insufferable once again. Just immediately becoming the worst person in the world, which obviously I didn't like. What the fuck is this fucking old people summer camp, fucking retirement home, fucking prison that he's building? What is this?
I think it's bullshit. Like, it's just a retirement home, but they dressed it up with a bunch of bells and whistles. And he loves corporate speak, so he gave the most corporate speak ever and promised them eternal life. But it's just a retirement home. Like, that is just classic, like, Kendall is they have no original ideas. They're just like dressing up something and hoping their like bullshit sticks.
It's a retirement home, but it has Disney Plus or whatever. That was basically it, wasn't it?
And it made me laugh when he was like, directors will swing by and show you the rough cuts. Stars will be there 24/7.
Stars definitely will, yeah. Like Tom Cruise is just going to stop by with fucking Mission Impossible 8 on a hard drive.
I've got this one for you guys.
Can you imagine an old people's home where they care that like Chris Nolan is there?
Just be like, who the fuck are you? What are you doing? I'm trying to watch Songs of Praise. Leave me alone. Okay?
It really reminded me of, do you remember when a couple of years ago Mark Zuckerberg like did his big video for the metaverse bullshit?
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, people can live forever in the metaverse. Ideas will be like, and it just, every part of it you watched, it just went like, you're a real person. Like you have thoughts, and that's terrifying. Like, you shouldn't be allowed to think about things. I don't know. I love that how immediately unlikable Kendall becomes. I like that he walks back into Waystar like the day after becoming the CEO again, and he's like, it's a parallel on the pilot. Like, he's got his rap music again. He's not wearing a tie, which is the mark of a cocky man, I think. a buttoned up suit but no tie. And he walks in and they go like, oh, here's some manpower, like here's some new people we've hired to help you with the deal. And he goes, okay, cool, just fuck off until I need you. And it's like, oh, I don't like you again, but I also love this good telly that you bring me.
Yeah. I don't really have much more to say on Kendall until the end, really.
Do you not think he's a big dork with his, like, he wants to build a little house on his speech?
He's a big dork. He that conversation he has with his dad was cringe. The onstage fucking presentation where it's like, hi dad, and they bring him out like fucking Walt Disney on a screen or whatever. Yeah. Horrible.
See, that kind of season 4 it doesn't start to do it. It expands on it heavily. It really shows you like all the side characters' reactions, like Frank, Jerry, and Carl. So like little things like when they put up Logan on that big screen, he goes, "Shall we just get on with it?" And he's like, "Yeah, sorry, Dad, sure." And like it just cuts to all of them being like, "What the fuck is this? Like, what are we watching?"
Yeah.
Catherine, anything else about Kendall?
Just, it really reiterates that he is the worst dad. Like, the way he treats his kids. And then he has the audacity to say what Logan always said, which is, I'm doing everything for them.
Oh, it's sickening, yeah.
Oh yeah, he did say that, didn't he?
Yeah.
He has the audacity to like come at Rava as well, and it says like, "Oh, our daughter was pushed. Where were you?" And it's like, have you? They haven't been in the show in like 2 seasons, so where have you?
Where were you?
Yeah.
Your daughter was hate crimed, and you were fucking blaming her mum.
Yeah, you were busy fucking, I don't know, giving interviews to the guy that is inspiring the hate crime. It's like bad dad 101.
Well, even him like choosing for a fascist to be president, I kind of feel like when he was like putting on his like struggle that he actually like was struggling with the decision, I just think his farce that he believes that he is a good person, but like every decision he makes is always the one that benefits him the most, even if it hurts his kids. And he's just like built up this fantasy that he is like this morality that he just doesn't have.
It is very telling that, like, even though he has conflict, quote unquote conflict about these scenarios, he still always comes up on top. And like, all it takes in America Decides is for him to be like, "Oh, Shiv was playing me for a fool the whole time. Oh, well, here, this is her penance. I'll be a
Sure.
bad guy then. And it's like, no, you were always gonna be a bad guy.
If Shiv hadn't have done what she'd done, he would have found another reason to go with Mencken. Like, end of the day, it was just an excuse.
Yeah.
I have questions about America Decides, but like maybe I'll wait for until we get to that. But one thing I was going to say, one scene that was really fucking infuriating with Kendall was when Jess, his assistant, was like trying to like resign, and she was like, and she didn't even tell him. She just like scheduled a meeting, and he saw it on the calendar and like, what the fuck is this? And then she was like, oh, we don't need to talk about it now. No, let's talk about it now. And then afterwards, he's like, oh, great, thanks for telling me this now. You fucking like, you fucking did this, you cunt. Oh, infuriating. I screamed at my TV at that moment.
The next episode is like, new Jess. Where's new Jess? I need to like give her. Like, fuck you, dude. You suck.
God, the worst person ever.
Yeah. But I love him at the same time.
You want to be him, don't you?
I do, Nathan. I want to be him so bad. I wouldn't mind his money. I'd take his money. And I do good things with it.
Too much money.
It is too much money, but I wouldn't say no to it.
I'd rather too much money than too little money.
Yeah.
So, should we talk about Shiv?
Sure.
Yes.
So Shiv gets another season. Season 2 and season 4 belong to Shiv, I think. In terms of like her character. Like it's so interesting for me that it starts as like this version of them all that's like, we're all together, we're united as one, we all got fucked over by our dad. Like Shiv got fucked over the worst because it was from her dad and her husband. It's like bad news. And then the second the Waystar like seat opens up again, they immediately are just like, fuck you, Shiv. Like it wouldn't play very well.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do we think of Shiv? What do we think of what she's up to?
What I can finally talk about is one of my favorite aspects of Shiv that I've saved talking about it because I didn't want to spoil anything for Nathan. Is that she constantly takes L after L after L. Like she is the personification of like girl boss energy, but with nothing to back it up. So it means she just constantly flops all the time. And I love that about her. I love that she's like low-key a failure, and it's everyone talks down to Shiv at like even Greg at one point gets a win over Shiv.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's how you know you've fallen, when Greg is able to get a leg up on you, yeah.
Poor girl is not doing well this season. Fucking hell. She's pregnant, first of all. So that's a big thing. Not once does she stop drinking though, which I'm like, fuck it, go queen.
She does. So when you watch it, not that you'll watch it again, but like watching it knowing she's pregnant, like for the first few episodes, she like either takes a sip or pretends or put it down. Like when the brothers went to the bar, she was like, oh, I'll just have a water sealed, like pretending that she didn't trust the bar, but she really wasn't. Or she also like pretended to do coke or like moved the coke around and stuff.
I did notice that. I did notice.
So she's not drinking as much as like you think she is. She just always takes the fizz so like no one can work it out.
Interesting. Maybe she fooled me then, because I was like, she's drinking.
But like, look, it doesn't exactly make her mother of the year. She's still being like, I want to be the CEO. I'll never fucking see my kid. It's not even going to be a thing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bad vibes.
Cycles continue.
Yeah.
Was you might know this, Lawrence. Was the decision to make her pregnant written in because Sarah Snook was pregnant?
Yes, and halfway through the show as well.
So I wanted to ask this, but I did not want to be rude, okay? Because Sarah Snook did seem noticeably pregnant, but I wasn't like, okay.
Yeah, so she was pregnant, and then halfway through the show, they decided to write it in. An amazing fact that I think is like really, really a testament to Sarah Snook's acting is the when she has the blowout fight with Tom at the tailgate party, and Tom says, "I think maybe you are not a good person to be a mother." They hadn't written in that Shiv was pregnant in that scene. They filmed, because they film stuff in whatever order they need to, and at that point the decision hadn't been made to make Shiv pregnant. So as an acting choice, Sarah Snook just tried to essentially took that on. Now it feels like, oh, it's because she's pregnant and Tom doesn't know, but at the time she was giving a performance that was more indicative of like, this is a horrendous thing for a man to say to a woman.
That was a late decision in the game then.
It was,
to make her pregnant. Wow.
It doesn't change much.
No, because it's not that much of a. It's not really that heavily involved in the plot, so I guess they can sort of get away with it. But it is only just like mentioned here and there, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I thought something while watching this that I'd thought about it before, but I didn't really know how to say it. And it's because obviously this season comes off the back of Tom being the worst husband in the world to her. And then a lot of this season is like, are they like ever gonna seem like they want to get back together? Oh, they are a bit back together, but now they're not. And I really like it that it's kind of within Shiv as a character to want a submissive partner that she could kind of use a bit as a punching bag, but then also when Tom starts punching her back, it seemingly just gets a little bit clearer in the sense that she can only associate love with manipulation and deception and like people kind of leeching close to her and showing her abusive tendencies, if that makes sense. Like,
I wanted her to kill him.
I did too. I think a lot of people, well, I don't know. I want to.
Tom's the real villain of the piece.
I definitely want to get to that. Nathan, I don't think Tom's a serious character, Bauer.
Okay.
Go and listen to the episode. I hinted so hard that Tom ends up the winner, by the way.
Did you?
I really did, yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh, that's weird. So you don't see him at all having any level of competency, and you were like, no, he's an idiot.
Well, he is an idiot.
Yeah,
he was, anyway.
He's the most effective idiot.
He was an idiot in season 1. Okay.
Yes, yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
I also think season 1, he was really playing so submissive with Shiv. That's what he was doing. And then this season, he's kind of like, fuck it, I'm going to be a terrible person.
Yeah.
See what happens.
His voice gets deeper each season, which I find so entertaining.
Really?
You won't really notice it on a first time, but if you go back and listen to season 1 now, right, just even a quick scene with Tom, he's very much like, Shiv, hello, kind of in the background.
Tom and Shiv, like he's always used like a slightly deeper voice with like Greg, but particularly with Shiv in season 1, he uses like a higher pitched voice.
Interesting.
Yeah. Act him, man. Act him.
He's the real villain. But yeah, I wanted to fucking stab him, which made the ending even more infuriating for me. I was like, what is going on? I hate this. I hate it. Like, and especially because it was Shiv who fucked it. And I'm like, they fucked you. Like, fucking stab him in the face. Like, you can fuck Kendall over later. Like, I get it, you hate him, but fucking hell, come on. And it was just so infuriating for me to watch that, because I was just like, I want you to stab Tom in the face. All right, I don't want him to win. I don't want fucking this Skarsgård boy to win. I don't like him either. All right. I hate it all.
So this ending specifically is why in the last year there's been a real resurgence of like Shiv haters, because the people that watch the show going, Kendall's the hero of the piece.
Kendall's not the hero.
Kendall's just a great guy that everyone keeps shitting on. This is why.
I'm the hero for watching it. Okay.
Okay.
Honestly, I think my favorite line in the whole show is Shiv at the funeral when she's talking about Logan, and she says he couldn't fit the whole idea of a woman in his head, because I think it so perfectly encapsulates not only her relationship with Logan and her relationship with many of the other male characters, but also the audience's relationship with her. Like, they can understand why Kendall and Roman would want to cut Shiv out. They're fine with that, but they can't understand why Shiv would then want to stab them in the face. Like, they can't get it, and they can't understand that it's because she feels the same. She wants it just as much as them.
It's an incredible piece of writing that I think is performed so well because of the fact that you still Shiv in that scene still looks like a failure in a way, because Roman flops the speech. Kendall delivers off the bat one of like the most incredible eulogies of all time, in that it kind of perfectly encapsulates who Logan was to him, without pulling any punches, but not being disrespectful. And then Shiv kind of gets up and is like, oh, fuck, I've got to have my say now. And it feels very like, why are you doing this? This isn't a good look. And then she pulls that line out and you go, oh, fuck. Yeah, okay, fair enough. It's pretty hard,
when she's like, my world of a father, or whatever the last line, it's so good.
Yeah, it's incredible. She
does a good job. She does a very good job. And I guess that is telling, given how like frustrated I get. Not necessarily a like Shiv or Sarah Snook herself, just to like the fucking. Like I say, because I just want them to be friends, and anyone who ruins that, I'm like, no, don't do that.
You watch them, like, or this applies to all of them, but Shiv in particular. Like you watch them make these wrong decisions in real time, and they're supposed to be seasoned business people, and we're at home watching it, being like, this is so obviously the wrong thing to do in this scenario. Yeah. Like the moment where Greg gets a leg up, he's like, he specifically says, I've caught you. What's in it for me? And she's like, how about I don't murder you? And it's like, well, you're not giving him any assurance. Like, tell him a crazy good job is in it for you. And they're like, who cares if you follow through? Like, just survive another day, for Christ's sake.
And it's the same way she fucked Tom over last season, like not giving Tom a reassurance that there was something for him. She learns nothing.
Yeah.
Should we do some Roman action?
Oh, Roman. So he's a fascist. He's really a fascist this season.
What was going on there, man?
Roman wants to be his daddy, is what was going on there.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
But was Logan it? Well, yeah.
His big thing was like he needed business relationships to strengthen them. And the second that Logan dies, Roman finds the only good way to feel close to him was like, I guess he recalled season 3 when he was in Logan's good graces and was like, that was when I was at my most dehumanized version of myself and the biggest prick version of myself. And so he just becomes that version of himself again as like a defense mechanism, I think. And yeah, it's what I like, why I think Kieran Culkin plays this season so well is he's, on one level, he is becoming the worst Roman possible, but then it's shown from the very beginning, like, he's also just falling so far disillusioned with this life. Like, in episode 1, he's like, I don't know, maybe could we not try and kill Dad? And they're like, oh, you're afraid? And he's like, no, it's getting fucking old. Like, I'm just sick of doing it. And then when Marsha throws Kerry out of the apartment, despite being the biggest prick to her, he's the only person that tries to console her at all. Like, he's mixing becoming the worst version of himself with trying, sort of somewhat reconciling with the fact that he's trying to be a good person at the same time. And it's such a detailed performance, I think.
Kerry was very funny.
Show you're working.
I just found her funny. I just found the reaction to Logan's death quite funny because like the girl just went off the deep end and couldn't handle it, which was funny, I guess. And then at the fucking funeral where fucking there was the line of all the women Logan had fucked over, I guess, just all sat in a row. Yeah, that was quite funny.
What does Caroline say? Like, she was my Kerry.
She was my Kerry. Yeah.
So good.
Bizarre.
And they're all sat there laughing at his like sleeping habits in the front row of his fucking funeral. Great stuff.
Horrible situation.
Yeah.
So Roman's a Nazi, or he loves the Nazi president or whatever. Again, insufferable to watch at times. Like Kieran Culkin really like split the fucking season between heart-wrenching performance, I kind of want to give you a hug, but also I don't because you might like tell me to fuck off or whatever, and then just like annoying little Nazi who I want to punch, you know? Like he really fucking played out well. Fucking I think it was the end of episode 9 when he like went out to the fucking like the rally or whatever and just started like flipping like the protesters off, just like, fuck you. And then he went, I need to fight here, I'm chosen for a fight. So we just got into the fucking crowd and started just purposefully intimidating people, which, dude, you're like 5'6", right? Okay, you are not intimidating anyone. But yeah, crazy, fucking insufferable to watch, but entertaining.
Yeah, it's like he's looking, because he's the one that they've like made it quite clear that Logan like physically hurt.
Yeah.
So it's like he's looking for that, and it's the same reason he was like watching over and over the clip of like that Kendall made of him, like Logan saying like Roman has a
micro dick.
It's because he's like trying to fill that, like his dad putting him down and his dad hurting him, like he's just trying to fill that from other ways.
Is that what was going on like at the end in the last episode when like when Kendall like hugged him but also like fucking like hurt him at the same time? Because that was fucked, man.
For me at least, the way I see it, like with the rally scene and with the Kendall hurting him scene, it's Roman seeking a substitute, like Catherine said, to the abuse. Like, there's no one around to say he's a prick anymore and to constantly call him a moron. Like, even he starts repeating Logan's language. Like, Logan's always called them morons. He calls them morons in, like, it's one of the last things he says to them. And then when he goes over to the barrier between the riot and the street, he starts going, "You're all morons. None of you have any fucking idea." Like, it's all stuff that Logan said to him in previous episodes. And I don't know, the Kendall stuff for me is like, it says more about Kendall than it does about Roman, I think. But the fact that Roman sits there and takes it isn't lost on me either. That it's just like something it's humiliating. And as we know from Roman, that's his jam. He loves a bit of that stuff.
He does, yeah.
Not even just in a sex. I think the show evolves that from, like, it used to be kind of more of a sexual kink for him. Now it's more a core tenet of his personality that he only really feels like a person when he's being put down by someone else, which is interesting. But I've got more to say on Kendall in a bit for the finale chat, because boy, is that damning for him, I think.
Okay.
Nathan, America Decides with Roman.
Okay, so America Decides. Isn't it too late for America to decide? Because, like, this was election night, right? So, like, and they said, like, in most places, the polls had closed. So what I couldn't understand, and maybe this is just me not understanding US elections, but, like, if most of the polls had closed, how is what they're saying influencing the election, really? Because surely by that point, the bun is in the oven, you know?
No, so it kind of comes down to calling a state. And it's the Wisconsin state where they lost a lot of ballots. So there would have to be some kind of legal action. But this is like what happened with like the Bush Gore election is Fox News called Florida early, and that got Bush the election. Is if you call it early, the presumption is then Mencken is the winner and people are trying to divert the true winner. So it's about setting the narrative, and you say then the other people are trying to divert democracy by doing the recount or by doing a revote because they literally lost ballots that would have been like more democratic because they were mail ballots or they were like previous ballots, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it's like setting the tone of who actually gets to say they're the victor in an election.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Republican thing of controlling the narrative. Yeah. It doesn't actually matter if it's true or not. And I think that episode and kind of Roman's role in it as well is so, like, it's such a fucking brilliant episode and piece of writing because it's the show's DNA at large, right? It's an American, like, this family has a lot of influence across America. Like, the controlling of ATN News is essentially how Fox News can just fucking brain poison every stupid fucking idiot in America. Obviously, America Decides is a funny title in itself, but, like, it lays bare that, like, so much of America's path as a country is just kind of paved by emotionally insecure fucking billionaire idiots that when their family isn't right and when they're feuding, it's not them that pay a price or a consequence. Like, it's the entire country that has to suffer because daddy didn't love them enough. And it's I don't know, I just think it's so interesting and how Roman feels genuinely terrifying. And it's not because Kieran Culkin is giving a crazy good performance. It's because he literally says at one point, "I'm going to go for a piss," and then changes the fate of the election in 20 seconds. And it's the first time that even other characters on the show who are terrible people have sat there with the weight of that power and gone, "Oh fuck, that was like it." Like Jess even tries to convince Greg not to call it, not to deliver that message.
It's the bit where the camera pans around of like everyone who's at ATN who, yeah, maybe when the decision was made by Kendall and Roman, but who were part of it, like Frank and Carl and Hugo, and they just look like, what the fuck have we done? Like, everyone, even the people in the newsroom, as it's being called, are just so like shocked to their core. And it's like, what did you expect? It's the way they campaigned for this guy, and many of them were in the room when he was selected, and they're still like, oh, I can't believe we did this, when it's something they've worked for and they've tried to put this Nazi in the White House and they were successful.
Yeah. It's the first consequence for them, I think. It's the first time they've actually had to reconcile with a choice they've made and gone, oh, fuck, maybe that was real bad. Like, maybe that was very bad. Yeah, I don't... there's obviously other characters other than the siblings. Is there any kind of ones we want to go through quickly before the finale?
Greg, 200K.
Great. Yeah, you were so close.
I was like, and throughout this season, I was like, that salary is not dropped yet. When the fuck is that salary dropping? I was getting ready, and then I was like, it's the last fucking episode. That motherfucker, man. You made me wait. He made me wait so much, man.
It was to keep you watching.
Yeah. You don't understand how big of a deal this was on Twitter.
Okay.
Everyone's like, how much does Greg make? Because he's wearing nice clothes, but like not that nice.
200K, man. That's a pretty penny.
For an assistant, what does Tom call him? Like the highest paid
Assistant ever or something. Yeah. Fucking, yeah, 200K, not bad from a guy who started off throwing up in a fucking theme park costume.
Yeah.
So
Greg is the winner of Succession, essentially.
Yeah, well, he's done all right for himself.
Yeah, right. Greg's salary drop. Do we want to talk about anything? Most of Tom's interesting stuff, I think, is in the finale. I think.
Yeah,
anyway.
he's just kind of tired for most of the season.
He's very tired. Yeah.
I will say it's interesting that he's one of the only people we do see actually having a job on the show, like a day job and working.
Yeah.
His work isn't any less bullshit than the others, but at least he shows up for work and has an office and stuff.
Yeah.
I will say just before, because obviously it's easy to kind of forget about Logan because obviously he dies so early in the season, but I do like that they essentially show him as just a man who is reconciling with his age ever so slightly. Like he's burnt pretty much every bridge. He's at his own birthday party being like, there's literally only staff here, and every room he walks into, like, they erupt in applause, and he's like, fuck off. This is so annoying. And his bodyguard's his best friend, which is just very sad.
That is very sad, yeah. And he wanted his kids to be there as well.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Don't be such a wankers of them, maybe.
Yeah.
I do, last thing on Logan, I do like that they show him up late at like 2 a.m. watching ATN, and he's kind of a bit of a grubby mess on the sofa, and it's implying that like Logan's mind has deteriorated so much that he's essentially one of the old people that get brain rotted on like channels like Fox News. Like he's
really?
there,
Okay.
yeah. I think he's there believing his own mush that he's like getting his stuff to peddle out to the American public. Which I found that quite fun. Anyway, right, the finale. Who wants to start? Where should we go?
I don't know how to approach this. Maybe maybe it's another like real switcheroo where they have the happiest scene maybe they've ever had between the siblings, where they anoint Kendall King and he drinks the whatever the fuck it is, the milkshake. I can't remember what they make. Disgusting
the
drink.
meal fit for a king.
Yeah.
Yeah. I sent Lawrence a text. I said, well, it was just a gif of someone like very hungrily drinking a lot of water, and I said me when Sarah Snook spits in the a meal fit for a king.
might be the horniest text you've ever sent me, to be fair.
That's definitely not the horniest text I've ever sent you. I've sent you way worse.
The horniest text I can share on a public forum.
Maybe.
I just think, well done all of us for going through 4 episodes without barking at Sarah Stuck. Because we could have spent 4 hours doing it.
It's true, we could have.
I've been secretly barking, just not uncouth enough to say on air.
He's been muting his mic and then just barking to himself.
Yeah, the connection's actually not that bad today. It's just me. I'm pausing myself to bark, and then I come back.
Nathan was like, "Oh, they're gonna work together. They're gonna defeat the evil Swede."
This was it. I was loving it. I was like, "Yeah, this is more it. This is what we want." I was like, "Yeah, fucking team, fucking annoying billionaire siblings. Let's go. Let's fucking do this." And then it all got pulled away from me in the last few moments. So I thought it was going too well. I was like, "This is all going too well." Someone's gonna fuck her up at the last minute. I knew it. Not happy.
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like if they'd have ended it like with them jumping for joy, we've defeated the evil tech billionaire. Like, you need a comeuppance for these guys. They've been such pricks the entire run.
It's true. They have, yes.
And I like that no one wins. I think that's like there is not a single winner. No one is happy with where they end up, apart from maybe Lucas Madsen, and that's it. I don't know, and maybe Carl and Frank because they're
Roman
gonna...
seems pretty happy. He was having a martini.
Oh, is that? Do you think?
Oh no.
I think out of the siblings, Roman has like the most hopeful most hopeful ending. Like, I think he gets to a real realization. It's bullshit. We're bullshit. And like, maybe it will be a spiral downwards, but it also could be like, he's come to terms with a few things. He's also not, it's hard because he's so alone. Like, he's lost Jerry. It seems like he's lost his dad. His siblings may never speak to each other again, but he hasn't burnt his relationship with either Shiv or Kendall. So it feels like maybe he could find some happiness, but equally, maybe he just won't.
I genuinely thought Kendall was going to go up to the roof and just fucking throw himself off the building. Like, I thought this dude's going to kill himself. There's no way, all right?
Yeah.
Look at this man. Even at the end, I thought he was going to throw himself in the fucking river.
Jeremy Strong, that was an impulse he had. It was filmed of him running towards the Hudson.
Really?
Yeah.
And Colin, the security guard, stops him. And this is why I like Jeremy Strong as an actor, but I'm very glad he's an extremely talented actor that's paired with a much smarter writer. Because Kendall, I think Kendall having to live with it is so much more interesting than him being like, "This is my life. I'm gonna kill myself." Like, that feels too falsely dramatic.
Realistically, what happens though? Because he's still made like a few $1 billion for this deal. Okay, so he's sad for like what, 4 days, and then he just does something new. All right, realistically speaking,
I think he will be permanently broken by this. But do I think Kendall, who was named the CEO of Waystar, wouldn't be dead and in a drug spiral in a few years also? Yeah, like he was going. A bad thing was always going to happen to it anyway. At least this way, he is free of the company. Maybe maybe a week after this he kills himself, or maybe, he's still a fucked up person, but like starts to slowly heal. You kind of just don't know. And I think this is much more ambiguous than had he like ran at the Hudson.
yeah, that's a bad ending for Kendall for sure. I don't know. I think it's hopeless for Kendall because the show across 4 seasons has shown him try other things. He tried to be that art guy that sold art. He tried to be a guy that did the 100, and every single time he's come crawling back to Waystar. Every single time without fail.
But then I would say there's no hope for him because I don't think he would be a success as the CEO. I think it would ruin him. So then I think it's just there is no like. Could be no ending for him.
I see. Oh, okay. Yeah. I see what you're saying. And yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think no matter what he did, his life is just a depressing life because he was promised something and then never prepared for it. So he can't win at either of those things. Like, not doing it doesn't work for him, and doing it also doesn't work for him.
I would say when you say he always goes back to Waystar, is because Waystar has always been there for him to go back to, but it's not anymore. Okay.
Yeah.
Now it's fucking Go Jojo, Go whatever the fuck it is, right?
Go Jojo.
Go Jojo.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I think that's it.
Swedish Netflix or whatever the fuck that is, all right? Like, he can't now. Like, he physically can't. Like, sure, his dad may have said, "Oh, you can't come in here," but like, all right, sure, come on.
Yeah.
You know?
I think him. This is why I love the ending shot of the season, why they chose to end it with Kendall, I think, as well. I think him walking alone in the park, something we've seen Logan do in this exact park time and time again, with Colin kind of following his bodyguard, kind of following a safe distance away.
Different park.
Is it different park?
Yeah, Logan walked through Central Park. This is not Central Park. This is down. This is down where you can see the Statue of Liberty.
There you go, Skyline connoisseur Nathan strikes again.
I know New York. I've been to New York, Lawrence. Okay?
I've been there once. All right,
I'm a true New Yorker. I've had a hot dog.
Okay, fair enough. But I like it. I think it's because he became his dad in the last 5 minutes of the show, right? Like he lays hands on Roman and Shiv, something he's always been the kind of adamant protector of the siblings from Logan. He's always piped up to stop Logan being abusive to them when he can. And he's he straight up lies about the boy. He says, I false memoried it. It didn't happen, which is something he fucking despised Logan for doing, right? It tortured him for years. And when Logan kind of disputed that it was of any importance, he lost his fucking cool over it. And I think the final kind of death knell for him is the fact that he's walking in that park with Colin following him. And Colin is, in the past, Colin has been referred to as Logan's shadow. And I think there's a very apparent shot where it pans round and Colin is standing behind Kendall, kind of, to me at least, inferring that he will always feel in his dad's shadow, and Colin is also the only other person other than his siblings that knows that boy and what the boy did. So every time Kendall turns his shoulder, he's going to be reminded of his dad and the boy he killed, that he pretended he didn't.
I don't think you've ever been wankier than when we're talking about Succession.
But I think I'm not pulling it out my ass. I think it's quite there. Like it's there to be looked. No, but I just love it. I think it's incredible writing. And I'm defending the ending from
you can defend it.
Haters.
It's fine. I know that like my issue is personal to me. Okay, I'm not saying that you're wrong. Okay, I'm saying for me personally, I wanted them all to be nice, which I know is wrong, but that's what I wanted.
But then you'd think it was billionaire propaganda.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. I would. Then I'd hate it. Then I wouldn't want it.
What do you think of Roman getting kind of shame hugged by Kendall to reopen his stitches? What do you guys make of that?
I think it's quite calculated from Kendall, right? It's to make it. Everyone in that boardroom had already cast Roman out as the successor because of what happened at the funeral. So it's like it's to remind them of that, so they see Roman that way. It's really horrible.
Yes.
Nasty.
I used to think there was maybe like a kind of a mercy in it, like of like, because obviously the gesture of a hug and the pain coming with it is very reminiscent of Logan's affection, like how Logan mixed pain and love into one. And I used to think there was maybe a part of Kendall that was trying to offer that, but watching it a couple of times back since, it's very clear that Kendall's just fallen off the fucking rails and is just going balls to the wall in terms of hating people and anyone that could challenge him in any way.
That's kind of what I thought. I kind of thought it was Kendall realizing Roman needed that role, realizing he needed that tough love, in a sense, if you want to call it that, and just giving it to him, basically.
Like a mercy killing kind of thing in The Office.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I think
really
that's definitely a way to look at it. Maybe I'm just kind of, maybe I'm too Kendall oriented to be like, I don't want to give him any credit when he's written as a bad character in the end.
No one else can understand the true Sigma mindset, like Lawrence Kendall Roy Heisey.
It's true. What can I say? What do you make of Shiv essentially being the catalyst for it all falling down for them?
Hate it.
You hate? Tell me. I really want to hear your take. Go on.
No, not like it's again. This is nothing new. It's just infuriating to me because I wanted them to be nice and to get it along. But it's like this is where like, well, no, I think it started crumbling before this, but this is like really where the House of Cards just came tumbling down. Like it also just seems kind of just very sudden from Shiv, especially because what happened at Logan's old apartment, which now I guess is Connor's apartment because they bought it. That was very fun. Where she found out that Tom knew, and she found out that it was going to be Tom, and she was so fucking pissed at him. And I was like, yes, Queen, fucking kill him, fucking make him nothing, fucking chop his dick off. All right, this is what I wanted. But then to see her just say, no, maybe not, and I was like, ah. It was so infuriating for me. Like, entertaining, sure, yeah. And then ultimately what leads to the whole fucking, the siblings ended up where they was always going to end up, where they're destined to end up. But for me, personally, just frustrating to watch.
I think Shiv's decision had so shockingly little to do with Tom. I think it was all about Kendall. Like, she spent her entire life wanting a man to see her, and he never did. So they have that meal fit for the king, and I think she really felt for a moment that her brothers got her for that one moment, And then Kendall comes in acting like a king and he offers chair of the board to Stewie. He insists on it, despite Stewie being like, I'm no good at it. And Shiv is right there and she's not
Mm.
even considered. And I think it hits home that no matter what, they will always cut her out. She will always be a woman. They will never give her a seat. Like the reason Matsson says that he doesn't want Shiv to be CEO, the two reasons he gives is because she's pregnant and because he wants to fuck her. Both
Yeah.
like so tied to her womanhood. And so she realizes I cannot live with Kendall winning. So she will stop him no matter if that means Tom, another man that she hates, wins.
That's the best thing about it, because I saw this is where I think people can get like too into stuff, right? Because I saw so many people the weekend that this finale came out. I saw so many people saying like it's making it more than it was, saying like Shiv is breaking the cycle of Logan's abuse. Shiv says no more and casts her vote against it to take their brothers away from this despicable place and bring them into a safe environment. And I'm like, no, it's she, like, for fairly justified reasons, obviously, but she kind of delved back into her childhood trauma and like essentially said, no, you're not doing it. And she kind of kicked the sandcastle over for all of them in just the pure spite of, I'm not letting Kendall do this. And like completely justified. And any single one of them would have done it to the other one. It just happens that it was Shiv. And I think it's so poignant for it to not be a decision based on Tom and her standing. It's very much like, if I'm falling down, then I'm fucking taking all of you with me. I'm not. If I lose, we all lose. I'm fuck this kind of thing.
See, that's interesting. I didn't consider it like that. I guess I was too focused on the Tom of it all. Really, I was blinded by my own rage.
It's easy for that to happen because like Shiv's story has been so crucially tied to Tom, and I do think but I also think what that decision does for Shiv and Tom's dynamic and their ending shot specifically. My God, like I won't, but I could write pages on that half handhold in the car, and
Please
like
don't.
yeah, I will talk about it a bit, but yeah. All right, so obviously where that ends for Shiv is she removes any chance of the family ever regaining control, and puts her husband in the CEO seat, which is not quite. Tom wanted this, but it's a very superficial version of what Tom wanted, in that he's not really the CEO. He's the puppet of the CEO with the face and the chair, but not the decision-making abilities. What do you think that's kind of, where do you think that puts Tom and Shiv as a pairing after this?
I mean, he gets our CEO salary, so.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. But I don't think they were hard up for a penny at this point.
No, but yeah.
Shiv's made billions on this deal.
Yeah,
that's
they're set.
fair.
They have wealth that will never expire. Like,
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
It's hard. I think it's trying to be like the power dynamic in the relationship has changed. I don't know if it ever can truly change. Because like earlier in the season, like Tom gave Shiv the gift of the scorpion and he said, you're the scorpion. Why don't you find this romantic?
What the fuck was that?
But-
That was wild, man.
yeah.
But they're both the scorpion. So it's kind of like they both hurt each other and they both do awful things to each other. And I think that will continue. Like, yeah, maybe Tom has a bit more power at this moment in time, but things change. Shiv is not gonna sit and suddenly be like, some people are like, oh, she's going to be a miserable housewife, and I'm like, no, she won't be. What
Yeah,
are
have
you
you
talking
seen
about?
Shiv? There's no chance. Yeah.
She's not going to wait at home and have a glass of wine ready for Tom at the end of the day. That is not what's going to happen to her.
My kind of thought on it is with the half handhold thing. It's, for me, maybe this is wrong. I really don't know, but like, for me, it kind of signifies the first time that there isn't a power imbalance between them. Like, their whole relationship has been Tom leeches to Shiv because Shiv has the name and the connections, and then Tom makes the connections, so he doesn't need Shiv, so he kicks Shiv to the curb and gets a leg up on her. And I think in this, they both have what the other person wants. Tom wants the security of all that money and that name and that kind of identity and status, and Shiv desperately wants to be recognized as a CEO, as a person in a position of power. And I think Tom has the CEO job, but there's strings attached, and it's contingent on him being this pain sponge for a man he has no respect for and doesn't respect him back. Whereas Shiv now is kind of forever doomed to a life of on the outside looking in, where she has all this money but no respect that comes with it, because like she'll be known now as one of the Roy siblings that lost the company and is married to the CEO of the company. And I don't know, for me it feels like the first time they're on somewhat equal footing, where they both win and they both lose in a way.
It's interesting you say like the power imbalance isn't there anymore, and it puts them on equal footing, because to me it was like the power imbalance has shifted, and to me it's now Tom has taken on the more dominant role of the two of them, just in the way that he put his hand down, waited for her to come to him with him and that kind of stuff. It just felt to me it just felt like he had taken on the more dominant role, and it just almost felt like Shiv had just resigned herself to it. I'm not saying like that I think that's gonna be Shiv's life for the rest of her life. I'm not saying that at all. But in that particular moment, it just felt like the balance, the power imbalance has shifted the other way between the two of them.
For me to believe that wholeheartedly, I would have to see Tom's position as more sound than it is. Tom is one bad decision away from losing everything.
Also, like, their marriage isn't sound. It's like his position as CEO isn't stable. Neither is their marriage. They are an argument away from filing for divorce again.
Speaking of, we kind of breezed over it a little bit, but that fight that they both have, was that so satisfying, or was that so satisfying to hear?
It was quite satisfying. Yeah, it was quite good.
Yeah,
finally,
and they're both right
it.
in ways. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's grand. Greg is now property of Tom. In one of my favorite resolutions of all time to a character. What do we think of this?
He was always property of Tom, though, really, wasn't he?
Yeah, but now he has no wiggle room. His salary's about to get fucked into oblivion. His only hope of holding on to anything is Tom. I don't know, I feel like
Is his salary about to get fucked?
Yeah, he says it a few times because Madsen hates him and is already going to cut costs. And he calls him Judas at the end of it. And Tom says, like, I've got just enough capital to keep you. But, like, essentially strap in. This is going to be a very ugly ride for you if you want to stay in this position.
We should leave.
I don't think he can. I don't think he wants to.
We should.
He's Tom. He's the leech. He's now the leech that is clinging on.
No, I did like that he slapped Tom back, though.
That was good. Yeah.
That was quite fun.
What did Greg call like the four of them, like the quad?
The quad squad or something?
Debating with making a deal with the Swedes.
Yeah.
It's like their actual brother has never been included, but Greg thinks he's got a chance. Yeah.
Those Swedes were so rude as well. Like, when that guy came up, was it fucking Hugo? And he's like, hey, man, save some food for the rest of us. I'm like, Jesus, how horrible do you have to say that to someone?
What is Hugo says back?
If someone said that to me while I was getting breakfast, I would never eat again, okay? I would never eat anything again for the rest of my life. That would severely fuck me up.
I love that Hugo comes back like, oh, I metabolize fast because I'm dynamic. And he's like just trying to hold on to his job.
Sure.
Oh, God. What doesn't he say to that guy as well? Like, oh, man, you almost got the bronze. That's almost so cool.
That's fun.
Oh, God. Any other endings we want to... Oh, I guess Roman's ending. Roman's is the one that I am still unable to work out.
He seemed happy. He was celebrating to me.
But, like, drinking Jerry's drink, like...
What is this? How do you know this is Jerry's drink? You're too close to this show, all right? You need to step back, okay?
He orders a martini, and, like, an episode prior to that, Jerry orders a martini in front of him, and he tries it.
2 people can have a martini, okay? That doesn't mean it's her drink.
It is. But that's fine. I'm aware I know too much about it. I get that.
God,
I'm just saying. It's I don't. What do you think of it? You think he feels happy?
Yeah, I think he was celebrating. I think he finally felt the pressure just gone, basically.
Okay. What about you, Catherine?
Yeah, I think like I think he had a realization like this is bullshit. We're bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. There's no point to what I've done so far. And I don't think it's that he's happy yet. I think it's that, he could be maybe. Because he went so far the other way. He elected a Nazi president. He ended things with Jerry, which is twice. He fired her and then also
Yeah.
he fired her twice, actually. He fired her in Connor's wedding and then officially fired her later on.
That's the emulating his dad thing, right? Because the first time he was like, this is the worst thing I've ever been made to do. And the second time he does it by himself with no one pulling any strings. Yeah. I do like how bad at business they both are. Like, he goes back and says to Kendall, like, hey, we're trying to kind of weather through this storm, and I've just fired general counsel of the company. And he's like, fuck yeah, dude. It's like, what? No, you're morons. It's the worst decision of all time.
The person that's only ever been shown to be incredibly competent at their job.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else? Where else do we want to go? Anything else to say about anyone else's ending? I feel Connor was absent, which was a shame.
He's not maybe going to be the ambassador of fucking somewhere else. So the woman he bought is sad because she won't get to spend half the year away from him or whatever.
I think that's the only downside of the season for me, is that we're like Connor's show ends 2 episodes before the show ends. And I wish there was a way to kind of wrap in his dynamic a little bit into the finale. But yeah, it's...
I think it's hard because it was really quite tied into the presidential election. Because he didn't, unfortunately, become president.
No, he didn't.
What does it say? Alas, Kentucky.
Oh, yeah, when they said Kentucky's our only hope, and then immediately they called Kentucky.
What is it? He does like a concession speech or something where he's like, but, I'm a billionaire, sorry, or something.
It was quite funny when towards the beginning of the season, he was debating whether or not to spend an extra 100 million on fucking campaigning on his campaign. Like, but what would that get you? Would that get you would that help you win? Like, no. It'd probably get us like 1%, maybe.
Yeah, I know. It said it maintains his percent.
Oh yeah,
that's it.
His percent. Yeah, 100 million to maintain 1%. Great.
If only I had that money. 100 million on a whim of someone being like, maybe this guy's not a complete loser.
One little thing and one little thing only.
Okay. Is that an instruction or is that how many you've got?
No, that's how many I've got. You're free to do as many little things as you want. Although...
Don't open that up. I will.
Restrain yourself. Okay. What was her name? Logan's assistant. Her news audition tape.
That's my first little thing.
That was very funny. And everyone else just watching it and laughing as well. And Hugo having it on his laptop watching it. And then having to do the presentation and just quickly minimizing it.
Why would you plug it in first, Hugo? What are you doing?
Oh, very funny.
Catherine, any little things?
The only thing I have written down that we've not said is I wrote down the line, cunt is as cunt does.
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Incredible line.
Fucking hell.
I like that the siblings all go to like a normal people bar and they're just seemingly repulsed by the options.
Yeah.
Was it Connor says like, I'll have what the everyman has, and then lists the most like premium wine you've ever heard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have a lot of it. I've very much enjoyed watching Succession. Nathan, where do you stand on it now? Because I've been hounding you to watch this for years.
You have. And now I have, so I feel like I can tick it off the list and never have to think about it again, really.
Do you not think you'll revisit it?
No, I don't. It's not, to me, it's not a show that lends itself to a rewatch, okay? I can't imagine.
Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong. But I can't imagine myself thinking in like a year or 2 years' time, like, I think I'll rewatch Succession, okay? Because I tell you what, I've never rewatched Game of Thrones, okay? I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it recently. I'm like, maybe I should rewatch Game of Thrones. But then I remember how Game of Thrones ends. So I'm like, no, I won't. So
that better not be a comparison. Don't be dare saying that's in terms of quality.
I was saying it's something to keep in mind. Okay.
Okay. All right. I'm so surprised that the ending wasn't a slam dunk for you. Like, I think it's the best season of the whole show.
I agree.
Okay. Well, I am outnumbered here, clearly, but I can't lie. I have to stay true to myself. So
That's fair. That's
there we
fair.
go. I enjoyed watching it. It was entertaining. It was
Yeah.
fun to watch. There was no point where I was like, I wish I was doing something else right now. You know,
Yeah.
that's the highest praise I can give it, I think. So
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with this.
okay,
All right. Do we have any recommendations?
Catherine, do you have any little things?
Any little things? No.
Yes, since Lawrence brushed over you.
I actually asked her.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah.
Sorry, Catherine. We'll move on now, seeing as Nathan wasn't paying attention.
Well, now don't I look the fool? Okay.
Nathan's going to jump into the Hudson after this.
I'm gonna throw myself off the fucking.
All right, what we do at this point in the show is we recommend some stuff. It could be something we've watched, read, listened to, or experienced in the past week. Just something we would love to share with the lovely listeners and to each other. Catherine, please treat us.
So this week I went to the Vagina Museum for the
Oh.
first time. It's in Hackney in London.
Nathan's
it's free.
favourite.
It's
What, Hackney?
It's free to enter, and it just has a few exhibitions about the vagina and women's health and various things of that nature. It's pretty interesting. It's very small, so it's a quick museum, free to go, and it was good.
An experience, to be sure.
An experience to be sure. There were lots of images of vaginas everywhere, but it was fun.
Are there like clay models? Is it like variety of different display types?
Much like Kendall's party, can I emerge from a vagina?
Sadly not. I did think that. I was like, I do know something that could make this entrance a little bit more interesting. No, they have like a satirical exhibit, and then they have like a history one. So it's good.
Interesting. Okay.
Oh, there we are.
Worth a
Catch me
visit
down
if
at
you're
the
in that
local
area.
vagina museum, yeah. I've been very tame with my success emendations.
Oh, for fuck's sake, you're not bringing this back, are you?
No. I've only got one, and I'm getting around it. But it is Succession related, but it's a recommendation, so you actually can't take it away from me this week. It's a rewatch podcast of Succession. Obviously, there's only 39 episodes in it, and it's like a one and done. They haven't like continued it off to talk about expanded Succession lore or anything. So it's all available wherever you get podcasts. It's called Suck Off, which I really enjoy. You know, a play on obviously the fuck off catchphrase, but also they treat it like a sports show in the sense of who won and lost each episode in terms of the chess moves that the characters play.
Do they have a weirdo of the week?
They don't have Widow of the Week, no.
Do they have the stats?
They don't have the
Well,
stats.
those are the only two metrics that I know for rewatch podcasts, okay? So...
Yeah, it's true. It doesn't hold a candle to our rewatch podcasts, obviously. But no, it's a good show. It's a really fun time, and it's if you like the show as much as I do, which is an unhealthy amount.
Who's the hosts? Shout them out.
It's Karsten Runquist and
Christian
Borky, I believe, are their names.
Yeah.
They're just two really interesting people, and they have really interesting takes on the show, which have opened my eyes upon many a rewatch as I Parks and Rec the show, as Nathan said.
You rewatch it too much.
Nathan, your recommendation, please.
Well, I don't know, because I haven't really watched anything else other than Succession.
That's
okay?
fair.
I haven't really done anything other than work. I haven't read anything. I was going to watch the Lady in the Sea, or The Woman in the Sea, whatever that movie is. That Daisy Ridley movie. There's a new Daisy Ridley movie out, and she goes swimming or something.
Oh, I've heard of this. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna watch that, but I didn't. So I don't know, man. I don't know what I can recommend. I played a little bit of Ghost of Tsushima the other night. I guess I can recommend that. That's a good game. Oh, we played Fortnite. We played Red Dead.
We did play Red Dead Online. Yeah, we did. Yeah.
We had a fight on Red Dead. That's pretty fun.
Our favorite thing on Red Dead is it's a broken online system, right? Where pretty much the only thing you can do is spawn in, change your clothes, buy some stuff, and then fight strangers.
That's not all you can do. That's just all we do.
Yeah, but it's also pretty much all you can do. You can do some bounties and make 12p at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, the online system is fucked, but it's very fun going on there with Nathan. We make our characters strip topless and stand on top of a train and have a bare knuckle fist fight.
Yeah. This Cough podcast is quite niche.
It's a great, yeah. I don't think it's a massive show. It's just it's a good one. But
it has less reviews than us, so it must be.
I'll burn on them.
Yeah.
Get wrecked.
I don't think this one, but the other one.
I know that the guy that that's how I even heard of it. The guy in it, Carsten Runquist, he's got a following. He's quite a popular film person on YouTube that he talks about a lot of stuff.
You've got a bit of a following. People know you.
Right. This guy's got I think over 100k subs on YouTube and stuff.
Yeah, but you're regularly throwing in your face to millions of people every week.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't mean they know me. I don't want them to know me.
Well, stop putting your face in there.
I can't because it also brings me work, Nathan. It brings me opportunities.
I mentioned how I mentioned not long ago to you how weird it is sometimes for me just to be enjoying my lunch and I'll put on my favorite YouTube show, Caravan of Garbage, and then I'll just get jump scared by my own best friend's face. This is strange.
Hey, there's some benefits to it. I've occasionally asked you for things. You've had clips end up in it as a direct joke only Nathan would get.
That's true.
Yeah, there's been the occasional shout
I've
out.
benefited massively. We had James on this podcast.
Yeah, that's true.
I've benefited massively from this arrangement. Okay.
And so have I, because it's my job and he pays me money. So,
well, there you go.
And because James was on that podcast, I am here now. Because that was the first one I listened to.
Hey! It works.
So I have also benefited.
So James has given us a job, a decently sized platform, and Catherine. Incredible.
A friend.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's what I'm recommending. Everyone has a friend who works for a YouTuber on a popular weekly series. So there we go. Good luck writing that one in the description.
Yeah, everyone should have a Lawrence.
Yeah, you're like my Greg. That's what you are.
No, you're the Greg and I'd be the Tom in this scenario.
No way.
Because I'm also a leech. I'm just capitalizing off someone else's popular YouTube show. Right. Thank you very, very much for listening. If you've enjoyed the show, then you can leave us a 5-star review. That'd be very cool. You can also follow us on Twitter @AnotherHappyPod. You can suggest a topic for us to check out. And also be sure to join us next week because we're kicking off a whole nother series. A very long series with
long.
Yeah, very, very long. We're going to be talking about this.
I'm Professor Charles Xavier. I built this school where mutants could learn to focus their powers in a positive way, and also learn that mankind was not evil, just uninformed.
Strap the fuck in. It's going to go on for a while.
Yeah, far, far too long. Also, Catherine has a lovely podcast. Catherine, would you like to share your podcast with the good folk?
Yes, it's called Missing Mystic Falls. It is a Vampire Diaries rewatch podcast. We go through every single episode of the show in an alarming amount of detail.
Yes.
And it's fun. We've both guessed it. It's a very good podcast, a very good time. They can follow you at Mystic Pod?
Yeah.
God,
Exactly right.
So you were off last week, so I had a break. So I'm glad I remembered it just about. Yeah, go check it out. It's a very, very good time. And thank you for joining us. It's been really good to have a different voice on for this show as well. A different perspective.
Thank you for having me.
You're more than welcome.
Fuck off.
Yes.
Brutal.
Very nice. Very good.
If you want to join us for an X-Men movie, then we have 14 of them coming up. So.
Or alternatively, if you're sick of us and would like to now just detox away from us, that's also fine. If you do feel so inclined, we also have a Ko-Fi link in the show notes. That's really cool if you want to help us with the running of both of the shows. Obviously, no pressure. All of the episodes are still going to be free to enjoy. at all times. And speaking of both shows, Nathan, we have another one, don't we? Another podcast.
We certainly bloody do, Lawrence. It's called Still Got Legs. It's our Docu Who Rewatch podcast, where every week we watch and discuss an episode of Doctor Who. Catherine joined us for the most recent episode.
No, you guys can't escape me.
We can't escape her. We discussed A Good Man Goes to War and pregnancies and other stuff, which I can't remember now off the top of my head. But it was a good fun time. We had a lot of fun. And next week we're talking all about Hitler. So that'll be fun too.
And if you're not a fan of Doctor Who, the context is over there. You'll have to go there for that. Why we're talking about Hitler.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. We will see you next Friday at 10 a.m. Stay beautiful, stay cool, stay other things, I guess. Yeah?
You haven't really quite figured that one out yet, have you?
No, not really. It doesn't...
No.
Whatever.
Anyway,
see you later.
bye.
Bye.